So that is recording.
I heard that.
I'm going to go to full
was that?
screen. That was the start of the recording. Then I'm going to start streaming. And then I'm going to play the intro. So we're playing the intro. Hopefully the intro is playing over YouTube. We won't know until YouTube actually starts. All right. So this is Jeremiah Creek, a Memorial Day special. And with I forgot to put well, first of all, we were supposed to start with our Jeremiah Creek logo. So for those of you who aren't listening, and then also I forgot to put the our names on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know how to change my name.
So let me see if I can do that real quick. Yeah. There we go. All right, so now we got our names on the bottom. So this is Jeremiah Creek, and that's Bull Garlington over there. Wait, over there. And this is David Haynes right here. I figure out how to blur it. For some reason, it's blurring in the. You know why? Because I think our names on the bottom. All right, so I'm gonna switch over to not having our names because for some reason that seems to blur everything else a little.
Having
bit.
Our names blurs things.
It blurs something. I can't figure it out because it wasn't blurring when I didn't have the names under it.
What is blurring?
Our backgrounds are blurring. Our faces are showing, but nothing else. Everything else looks blurred. So
on my end, the backgrounds are crisp and sharp.
Yeah, I know. But when it goes over to YouTube, so now now it looks crisp and sharp. So so here we are. I'm back from fishing, which you didn't go.
I would like you to use finger quotes when you say fishing.
No, I did some fishing this time. We you know what? Okay, for those of you who have never ever listened to this show, which really since we only have like 2 subscribers now on Jeremiah Creek, we need to get that up to 50. By the way, can we do something so that we can get 50 subscribers so that way we can use the GoPro and just automatically upload? We can just go out and do stuff.
Yeah, we can. I can do stuff for that.
Yeah, we need 50 subscribers. So we go fishing every year. Well, I go fishing every year. Chris goes fishing some years. The weekend before Memorial Day, father-son kind of a thing. And Bull and I never catch fish.
Never.
We go find a nice quiet cove out in the middle of the lake on a little rowboat, and we smoke cigars and throw worms in the water, and they die there, and we catch nothing. But
we are worm murderers.
This year, when you weren't there, I caught a ton of fish.
Okay, I know you're lying because Tony Ski contacted me and he ratted you out
today.
Good.
Hold on a second. But when are you leaving? I'm just doing a live podcast on YouTube. That I should have you come in and ask me for money right in front of everybody.
Really?
All right.
Give her 35. Give her 35.
You talked to Tony. Well, Tony wasn't fishing with me.
Convenient.
He was in the other boats.
I didn't see any pictures of fish. I don't see any pictures of you holding fish.
I don't know what I should. I do. You know what? I wonder if I can post a picture of me holding a fish because I actually do have one. I have to check and see.
There were a couple of years when we went, and I would get out of the car, walk down to the dock, and cast first thing, and catch a fish on the first cast. Remember that? I did that like 3 times. But then for the entire rest of the trip, it was like fate was like, yeah, here, you can have this one. And then the entire rest of the trip, nothing. And Joey and his dad would be sitting there, like fishing in oily water where the boats are going back and forth and playing a Cubs game at 1,000 decibels with the speakers basically pointed into the water, and they just catch fish after fish after fish after fish on stupid cane poles.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, you know what? And they were in the weeds, and they don't get stuck in the weeds. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
either.
I don't. They're just those guys have a lot of luck going on with them.
But yeah, I managed to catch like the first day we were there. We went down to the shore. So the first, okay, so you got to understand, we only rented one boat, and we're all big men. So,
You mean a pontoon boat?
No, we only rented one little boat.
Really? I thought each cabin comes with one.
Well, yeah, but we only had one.
Oh, okay. All right.
So my thing was that we only had one boat, so we can't all fit in that one boat. It would have sunk.
Yeah. More than likely.
So we got there. When we get there Thursday, we got there Thursday night, and then Friday, Tony used the boat, and so me and my dad and my other brother-in-law sat and fished off the shore Thursday night and all day Friday, and we were just reeling them in. Bluegills. I caught a really nice perch right off the shore. I caught more fish this year on Thursday and Friday than I caught probably in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday, me and Tim went out on the boat, my other brother-in-law, and we caught one fish, but we sat out there and had a nice time. So,
I mean, that's part of it, right? That's part of it, is hanging out and having a good. You do want to catch a lot of fish, but I think some of those guys are focused almost entirely on fishing, and I don't know how much actual hanging out they really do.
And a lot of them are real fishermen, like they fish, all the time.
I have a friend who ended up being a professional fisherman down in Florida.
Really? You mean like
all he does?
Taking people out to
I actually don't know how it works, because he always seemed to be by himself, but all he does is fish. And he uploads all these YouTube videos of him out off the coast or on the intercoastal waterway down in Florida. It looks great.
Huh. I can't find my stupid fish picture. The only picture I took of me holding a fish this time. So I caught a lot of fish. What am I gonna say? So, I wanted to check and see if we're live.
If I had my tablet up, I could do that, but my tablet is discombobulated at the moment.
See, it says we're not live. I don't understand this.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why, to me, I think you should go the other way around. I think you should do everything on YouTube and then port the audio to a podcast.
Well, that's what I'm doing. That's
Okay.
what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing this time. The only thing I don't know is, like, the one thing is on Zoom is that it saves it in two files, audio and video, and
well, that makes it easy.
Yeah, and so on this one, I don't know if it does, but either way, it's not a big deal. All right, so I just don't know how I could sit here and do 3 tests in the half an hour before I started this Google Meet, and how to go live on YouTube, and now all of a sudden I do exactly the same thing as soon as we start, and it's not. It just blows my mind.
It's pure luck. Yeah,
I guess I don't know.
If you hadn't got any fish, this would have gone smooth. You can have fish, or you can have a podcast that works easily.
Yeah, probably right. So, yeah, I don't know.
We were yelling at each other earlier about something, and I forgot what it was.
Well, we were talking about politics, which we don't usually do, but you were talking about how you were going to. Oh, is that no? We were talking about how you were going to Florida.
Yeah, I got a lot of travel coming up real quick.
And so I was saying it's going to be interesting to see since what your thing is that whenever there's a Republican running for president or a Republican president, you always think they're either uniquely stupid or evil, and it's going to be funny to see how you square that when if DeSantis is running, how you're going to say he's worse than Trump. So
I don't know if he's worse than Trump, but he's
well,
definitely not better than Trump.
Yeah, I know. And how are you going to say like you think he's a moron?
I think he is a moron, not in a sense of I have no idea how intelligent he actually is. I have no idea how capable he is. I mean, he's a freaking governor, so he's certainly got some sort of wherewithal to get there. But I think that in terms of purpose, I think that his purpose is off kilter, because your purpose as governor should be to serve the people of the state. But he seems to be doing weird stuff that doesn't serve the people of the state. And he just seems to be trying to be as crazy as possible to keep up the attention level. Because, I mean, the things he's doing, I mean, granted, some of them politically I don't agree with, so let's just shelve that. But like fighting Disney, what the hell? Why would he do that?
Well,
what was the point of that?
Well, you would know. I mean, you would know Florida politics better than me because you grew up there and you deal with Disney. I think when it started, I was fully on board with what he tried to do. The idea being that, you know what, you're here and you're in our state and you're running a business and you're getting benefits that don't get. Stay out of politics. On what the politicians do. What?
Did they get into did Disney get into politics? All I remember is that Disney, they have for years and years they've had a gay day at Disney. And I think that they were going to have a gay day and DeSantis said no or something like that.
No, it wasn't. That's not how it started. Although if you want to get to the gay day stuff, we can talk about that later. But when he passed a bill saying that they didn't want all the gay and transgender stuff taught to kids under the age of whatever, third grade it was, I think. And then, I mean, politics is politics in this day and age. Everybody's got a narrative. And so the liberals started calling it the Don't Say Gay bill, even though nowhere in the law did it say that. But and Disney decided to get involved and say that the governor was wrong to pass this law, that the legislature was wrong to pass this law, and they kept pushing the "Don't Say Gay" narrative, and even though that's not what the law was about, and so it's basically like all these churches and stuff that get tax-free benefits because they're not supposed to be involved in politics. Disney gets Disney gets a lot of those benefits too. And he said, listen, if you're going to be involved in politics, then you're involved in politics and you're not getting this free stuff that we've been given for
what
30
free
years.
Stuff do they get?
They run their own. They run their own government.
They are a town.
They're right. And they have, they don't pay taxes. They handle all of their, it's essentially is the board of Disney is like a city council, and they make all the decisions for that area without regards to voters or legislature or anything like that. It's, I forgot what they call it, but so he said, well, then if you want to be involved in the political process, then you have to have, you lose this benefit of being your own governmental entity. And
Disney does pay taxes, by the way.
I think they do, but they also they're not restricted by zoning laws. They can build whatever they want without.
They are restricted by zoning laws, and they can't build whatever they want.
Oh well, I mean,
none of that stuff is true. I mean, first of all, not only did I grow up near Disney, I worked in construction for Disney. And I work building some of those things. Believe me, there is a absolute, they comply with all the same laws anybody else in the state does. And in fact, they have done a lot to make the construction laws in Disney better, or in Florida better and safer, because they employed so many people to do that. And And the things that they get that are special tax stuff don't really, it's not the same as a church. They are definitely paying taxes, not only to the state, but to the counties that adjoin them, Osceola County, and I think it's Seminole, not Orange. Maybe, well, no, Orange is not one they pay to, though. I think Seminole and Osceola are the ones they pay to. So the idea that they're like a tax-free zone is crazy town. That's just not true. They don't, what is true is that there is no state tax in Florida. So most of the revenue that other states would use for state improvement and to build stuff comes from Disney, because Florida uses tourist tax to fund its state stuff. So if you live in Florida, you don't pay a state tax. It's a tourism tax. And tourism in Florida is pretty much 99% Disney. It churns and burns an ungodly amount of money, and puts that money back into the state. It does flow to Tallahassee, which is the capital. It's Disney doesn't keep all the money and the state doesn't get anything. It doesn't work like that at all. And the special counsel that they set up for that, I mean, it's been that way for 50 odd years. It's like, it's always been like that. They're not much different from a council in any other county, or like Miami or Orlando or anything like that. Yeah, they get to make their own rules and they make their own within the law, but it's not like they're some sort of fiefdom or something like that. They're no different from any other municipality, except that they have fuck tons of money.
Right, and they don't stand for election. They so they get to
it's everything's appointed, sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff in other cities and councils and stuff is appointed as well. You know, they don't have a mayor. Actually, they do have a mayor, but I don't remember who it is. So yeah, because the only people in their thing are them, so they don't have to do all that stuff. But I mean, so tell me this: so they don't have elections, but I mean, who would vote? Nobody lives there.
It allows Disney to govern their own properties and levy extra taxes on top of what local governments charge. Those taxes pay for a variety of services at the Disney properties.
Who are they taxing?
I don't know.
Nobody lives there.
Well, no, but businesses are there. It encompasses
the only businesses at Disney are Disney.
No,
and then vendors that come in there, but I mean the vendors don't have to come in there.
It encompasses 25,000 acres in both Orange and Osceola counties, servicing 19 landowners, including Walt Disney and its affiliates.
Like I can tell you from having been down there that effectively the only people that it really affects is Disney, and anyone else that it does affect are really happy about it. They have no problem with it whatsoever.
Okay, to go forward. Well,
and here
anyway, but the point is that I don't pretend to understand all the government aspects of that, but the basic thing is that they're not supposed to be involved in state politics.
Why?
Well,
why? What is it about them that doesn't put them in a position to be political? Why should they not be political? They pay taxes. They're a governed entity in the state. They fund most of the money that the state uses.
Well,
why shouldn't they have an opinion?
All right. So if they have an opinion, they shouldn't get any pushback from that opinion. If what you're saying,
I think it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine for them to have pushback. I just think it's stupid.
The largest economic engine in the state decided to go after the governor of the state and lie about some of the stuff he passed, and in an effort to increase their business. And the governor said, "No, I'm not going to let you do that.
Are they doing it to increase their business? Does Disney need to do that to increase their business?
I cannot imagine. That's the other thing that we get into. All these little these DEI things or whatever. I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around. It has to do with investments and stuff. But a lot of these businesses have made a decision that at some point, getting involved in all these political, specifically the gay and transgender issues, is going to help their business. And I mean,
I don't think that's why they do it. I mean,
you don't think that's why they do it?
if you look, fuck no, dude. If you're a business and you get involved in politics like this, it's gonna hurt your business. Look at what happened to a bakery that tried to have a drag show. They closed down eventually. It's insane. People are nuts. Nobody gets involved in the politics on the gay issues to help their business. That is ludicrous. And anybody that believes that doesn't understand how those things work.
Well, wait,
Disney.
Hold on. Wait,
nobody makes money off this.
Let me ask you this. What is the point of having a business?
To make money.
Then if you're saying they're making decisions that will not make them money, how stupid is that?
It's not stupid. It's not at all stupid, because here's the thing we haven't talked about yet, and that is at Disney and at so many businesses in Central Florida, there are an absolute unbelievable number of gay employees, all the way up to the CEO positions.
Yeah.
So, and it's always been like that since Disney opened. Since I was a kid in the 80s, Disney has always been a safe haven for gay people, a place to work where they absolutely were never bothered. No one cared that they were gay. Disney never gave a crap if they were gay at all.
I don't think anybody cares now.
That's an odd response when we're talking about a law and several other laws that in a state that has literally said that they're not happy about gay people. I mean,
I don't agree. That's the part I was trying to get to. I don't agree. I don't think any of these laws have anything to do with saying we don't like gay people.
Well, if a law is trying to keep you from, for instance, having books about gay culture in a library, what is it saying?
Okay. First of all, and this is the part of the things is that they're not banning books. They're saying that these things should not be taught in school to third graders or less or younger. And I don't think that straight sex should be taught to third graders and younger. So if you're saying
no one's teaching them about sex.
That's the whole that was the whole original argument that started this. Was they wanted
anyone's teaching third graders about sex. I think they might be teaching about identity, but not about sex.
Right. So that's where the dispute is. What the law said was they don't want people teaching sex and gay sex specifically, I guess, to third graders or younger. And all these whatever politically motivated people, including Disney, said was they're trying to ban books and going after gay people. And the problem that I always had with it is that's absolutely not true.
I think that what Disney saw is, I think that what they recognized was that an enormous chunk of their employees were upset about this and felt personally attacked by this kind of thing, and that Disney, which again has always been a very, 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 I cannot stress enough, very gay place, said, nope, we're gonna celebrate being gay, and we're gonna have gay pride events, and we're gonna have.
See, wait! You lost me halfway through it. I think you're right about the fact that Disney said that a lot of our people are opposed to this, and we should stand up for them. Nobody has passed any laws that say you can't have pride events. Even all the pride stuff that are coming, even the backlash has nothing to do with gay people, gay marriage. 75% of the people in this country don't give a shit about gay marriage. When the arguments come, it's about transgender people and specifically about transgender children. Nobody cares. Gay people are mainstream now. I mean, even gay people say we have to get rid of the T in the LGBT community because it's causing problems for them. And nobody says anything about Pride Parade. You know, the backlash is when
no one said Disney didn't have a parade because someone said you're not allowed to have parades. Disney is always having parades, and Disney has a gay day every year. I think what they did was they kind of threw an extra one in there and publicized it, sort of as a finger to to a government that was passing laws that they felt were anti-gay.
No, they used their considerable corporate power to say that the governor was wrong to pass this specific law, and they lied about what the law said. And the governor said, wait a minute, you can't sit there and get involved in politics and lie about it and then not react to it. And so then he went now beyond so then they passed the law getting rid of the Reedy Creek thing. I thought they should have figured out how to keep it and negotiate it and maybe get some concessions. I think he went way too far.
Yeah, they're actually going to lose money now.
I think he's continuing to go way too far. And then Disney got rid of the guy who fucked this all up and got him embroiled in this whole thing and brought back Bob Iger. And once this is where I think DeSantis was stupid. Once they brought back Bob Iger, he should have gone back and negotiated with Bob Iger, because Bob Iger is not an idiot. He built that company, not built it, but he created it into the juggernaut that it is now. And when they brought him back, DeSantis should have said, okay, let's work together. And he didn't. So then he got fucked. And, and so I don't know. I do think that a lot of the push, the stuff that you're talking about, DeSantis and what liberals hate about DeSantis, I think is way overblown. I don't particularly like DeSantis. He's not my first choice, but he's not worse. I mean, I think he's brilliant, and I do think he's a policy wonk who's probably not going to get elected. But I don't know. I just think that a lot of the stuff that people are saying about him isn't correct.
Yeah.
But he's made some mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you talk to people who live in Florida, they're unhappy. Granted, most of my friends are liberals, Democrats, but not all of them. And there are none of my friends in Florida that are happy with this guy.
He got reelected with 60% of the vote.
I'm not talking enough people that in this thing with Disney that the deal that they lost with all the jobs and the building this new business park they're going to build.
That had nothing to do with DeSantis. I mean,
maybe,
granted,
maybe
no, it didn't.
Maybe
no, it didn't. Again, Bob Iger would not pull out of $1 billion deal if he didn't think he was going to lose money on it. It has. I mean, the only thing it has to do with DeSantis is the governor, and he takes the heat. He takes the hit for it. That's just part. That's part of doing business. If you're going to be in politics, you're going to be a governor. But Bob Iger pulled out of that deal because it made financial sense to Disney. And
somebody should have pushed harder for it, because it would really help that area, man.
They've been they're laying off 7,500 people worldwide. They're closing down a lot of their I think. And I'm not sure.
You know why?
I think they went. I think they went all in on the Disney Plus and the stuff, and they didn't make enough content, or they didn't have it. I'm not sure exactly what. But they made some, I think, bad financial decisions, and everybody across the tech sector is laying people off. Things have changed.
Yeah, it's very bad.
And Bob Iger is a brilliant businessman, and he's doing what it's going to. I bet you 10 years from now, Disney's going to be bigger than ever because of him.
Yeah, it's really hard to slow Disney down.
Right. On the other hand, I don't think we'll have Bud Light in a year, but All right. So what else? That's enough politics. Look, you're looking off. You're not even interested anymore.
You know what? Here's the thing, man. Several years ago, I kind of started pulling away from politics. I realized that I was becoming a person who had blinders on and who was like a tribal guy, like I was on the Lib Dem tribe, and that I was willing to attack people, I mean, online. And I was, in many instances, being an absolute dickhead, simply because they had different politics than me. And I realized that I have, first of all, no understanding of business. If I did, you and I would be rich. I have no true understanding of politics because I've never served, and I've never been in that reality, and that I am extremely susceptible to messaging. It's very hard for me, even when I analyze it and look at it and recognize the parts that are from whomever that are more propaganda than information. Even when I recognize that, I still remain very susceptible to messaging. And I just decided that that was not an arena that I had any real influence in, that I do my civic duty and I vote. But other than that, I'm not going to change anybody's mind. And I don't know if I want to. And I realized it was more important for me to focus to change my political mind and basically discard politics and focus on one-on-one interactions and not give a shit about the politics of it, but instead focus on an authentic exchange between me and whoever I'm with and whoever I'm talking to. And that is way more important and way more effective than anything I could ever do on a broad scale or just yapping my gums about politics.
Well, I mean, I agree. The one thing is that I always believe that if you cannot discuss something in a friendly manner, then you are wrong. Whether you are liberal, conservative, you know, and so I mean, I basically stopped talking, and I especially like on Facebook is where I used to get into arguments with people on politics and stuff. But in 2020, after the whole George Floyd thing, it got to the point where, I mean, just for self-protection, you cannot discuss political issues because people have become tribal is a word, but people have become so angry, and it's like the idea is not to change minds, it's to destroy anybody who disagrees with you.
Yeah,
and
it's not just political. It's not just political. It's any online community that has an identity. All right. Yeah. So I belong to a community on Reddit for people that have adult people that have ADHD, and because there's a lot of really good tips and stuff, and I, you know, when I found this place, I was like, holy crap, there's other people that are crazy like I'm crazy, and but I've noticed that if you can't really ask questions there that are like thought experiments because people feel attacked. You couldn't say, what if it's not ADHD? What if you're just disorganized? You could never say, you can't say that shit. They'll lose their minds. And I mean, it's, you know, it's in gaming circles and it's in bro cryptocurrency communities and any community that has an identity. Right. The people in that community identify with that thing so strongly that if you challenge their identity, or if they think you're challenging their identity, they actually feel threatened and will attack.
Right. And I mean, in my case, I just saw too many people that I work with where if you express an opinion that somebody doesn't like, and every opinion half the people don't like, then it's not only that they'll argue with you, it's that they will try to destroy your job. They will try to destroy your livelihood. They'll destroy your family. And it got to the point where I'm like, too many people would express an opinion on Facebook about something that happened in their personal life, and then they would end up getting suspended from work. And I'm like, you don't want to mess up.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy town, man.
And I mean, I know I had an officer work for me, and just to get back to the whole gay thing, a few years ago, she was at a library with her 5-year-old, and they had a pride thing going, and she stepped away from her kid, and some guy who was a volunteer or something, I guess, as it turned out, some guy came up and started talking to him and wanted to take him by the hand over to the pride thing and show him all the pride stuff. And she came back and she's like, who are you? Don't be talking to my son. And basically it was nothing to do with pride or gay or anything. It was
right. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's a stranger danger thing. She,
yeah.
You know, teaching her kids not to talk to strangers. And she posted it on Facebook and said, you know, this guy wasn't in any kind of uniform, wearing any kind of name tag, and wanted to do this, and got all upset because she wouldn't let him take her kid over to see the pride thing, and puts it on Facebook. and got complaints and got suspended for 5 days from her job.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and that's and at that point I'm like, okay, no more.
She could sue the police department because that's not appropriate.
Maybe she is. I don't know. I don't know what happened after that. That was a couple years ago. So it's like the point is it's just it's not worth it. I mean, maybe once I retire, but it's kind of sad that there are basically people that are killing free speech. And
well, I mean, let's be honest. America's always been pretty tough in that. It's just that now it's magnified. America has always been very tribal, right? There was always the left, always the right, and always a group of people that were sort of in the middle, a small group of people that were in the middle, and that was the way it was. Now but communication in those groups was not easy up until we had email, which was 1984. Up until then, your only way to communicate with people was by phone and by mail or in person, and all those things take time. And you can only phone one person at a time, and so it wasn't easy to communicate in a mass way. Now any idiot can communicate to thousands of people in an instant, and so everything is magnified.
Except for us. Except apparently for us, nobody looks at our shit. So.
Well, we're just too smart for what we do, Dave. That's what it is. We're just too smart for it.
We're unfocused.
Yeah, I had a good friend this week say a really neat thing about AI, by the way, speaking of being smart. And he was like, it's not artificial intelligence. There's nothing intelligent about it. It pulls information from all of the internet and reassembles it in a unique way. It is a plagiarism machine. And I was like, holy crap, that's really true. It's not intelligent because it can't create. It still makes me mad, though. Do we even have time for me to talk about Ireland and Florida and for you to talk about not fishing?
Let's switch that now. All right, so you're going to Ireland?
I'm going to Ireland for.
And what are you bringing me back?
What do you want?
I want an Irish sweater.
Maybe.
I'll pay you back for it, but you have to get one that's sheep size, like the whole sheep, because
the whole sheep.
I don't know if they make Irish sweaters in my size.
I have to tell you, the last time I was there, back in 2011, we went to the woolen mills, and when I went in there, I immediately went to the extra large section, and it was not an extra large section.
Right.
It's like Asia. They don't believe that humongous people exist. So you might be right. It might be hard to find, but if I see one, I'll pick it up. But we're flying into Scotland first because we're going to go see Elton John in Aberdeen, and then we're going to go.
Wait, is that his final show?
Yeah.
The very last one?
I think it's the very last one.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's going to be all worn out. It's going to suck. And then we're flying over to Ireland, and we're going to do a tour around by car. There's 4 of us. So I figure we'll probably make it about half a day before we run off a cliff and die.
All right, wait, I got a couple questions. All right. So when you say you're taking a tour around, are you going to see that island where they filmed Star Wars?
We talked about it, but it's too much of a pain in the ass.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it takes us way too far off of our trip. It's hard to get to. Like it's not just that there's a ferry, but I mean it's not commercial, and it's not set up for tours. Believe me.
Oh.
And
okay.
So no, we're not doing that. We're gonna go see the Giant's Causeway, I think, but that's so far up north, and they're also going to Galloway, which is way down south. So we're doing a whole fucking island, and staying at Airbnbs mostly, and then we'll end up in Dublin and fly back home.
Hey, when you're in Dublin, are you going to walk down the street and go, the English were right, and see what happens?
Sure, I will. That'd be great. Well, I'm traveling with people whose name is Murphy and whose father was a dual citizen. So I'm not going to say anything like that. I mean, my wife's name is Colleen Murphy. That basically means Irish girl. I mean, that's what it means. And so now we're basically going to go to all these places, these little towns, and see some kind of interesting site. And because we're all nerds, a lot of it is historic, literary, or religious stuff. And then we're going to go, except in Galway, where it's all about me getting oysters. And yep, that's the whole trip.
Are you going to go see Trinity College?
Maybe. I mean, I've already seen Trinity College, so I don't know if I'll. We're not going to have a lot of time, because my wife and her sister put the trip together, so we're spending like 8 minutes in every place.
Yeah, I am still getting used to the idea of not filling time when you're on vacation.
Yeah, that's the way I like the vacation. I think it's dumb to fill your time up. I think you should go. I would rather spend 2 weeks in Ireland in one Airbnb on the Ring of Kerry and just have time to sort of explore.
Right. I'm actually very lucky. My wife is very good at the hey, let's go take a ride and see where we end up type trips.
God, that's my dream right there, man. That's fantastic. But although, go ahead.
We were down in Tennessee. We took a back road. Hey, let's see what's down this road. We took a back road. We ended up really rural on a side of a mountain on a dirt road with an 18-wheeler bearing down on us with no GPS. And we were like, oh, we don't. Boy, if something happens. And how did that truck even get up here?
Were you on the bike?
No, we were in a car.
Yeah.
But so
yeah, the thing is that from one perspective, a lot of trips like that people consider it a failure, right? And then when you have your database person like my wife, have a minute by minute itinerary that's printed out in different colors, you would think that that's insane. But in every case, always, I have more fun on her itinerary. I get better stories on mine.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I mean, in some cases, my wife can be like that. Like at our wedding, she chose a song list for the wedding that basically went longer than the wedding, and I was at some point going, "Well, don't other people get to choose a song occasionally?" But
hey man, whenever it's a wedding, it's the wife's wedding, and so
right.
You just let that stuff slide. Oh, and I don't know, man. I've had a dramatic week because my brother-in-law moved back to Chicago, so a week ago we helped him move in, and then the next day my cat was attacked by a coyote.
Well, yeah, how's your cat doing? Let's get a cat update, a pussy update.
Not good, Dave. My pussy was bleeding today, and we couldn't figure out why, and so I had to wrap my pussy. And then we were trying to get my pussy to eat, and it wouldn't. And,
well, wait, why is it bleeding? Didn't the doctor stitch it all back up?
He got out of his cone, and he gnawed on his sores and opened them up. So, he's all stitched up and everything.
Did he lose an ear or anything, or an eye, or?
Nope. He got lacerated very badly on his throat and on his head. And when you look at the wounds, it is clearly a mouth, and a big mouth that was crunched on him. And then he got out of the mouth and was fleeing, and that creature grabbed his tail and he's like skinned, and he's got some other puncture wounds, and he was shaken very badly. And, there's a chance there's brain damage and lung damage from that. But he looks terrible. He looks so bad. And he's just been, the vet told me that if he had showed up, that if he had not made it within a half hour back to the house and got my attention, that he would have died. Because when he got to the vet, his body temperature was dangerously low. But I heard my cat howling, and I don't pay a lot of attention to my cat. He's inside, outside all the time. And I opened the door, and he's just standing there like, And I was like, oh my God, how are you alive? So, but here's the thing, man. He is now the third most expensive thing we own. Because I added up, my wife probably get mad at me for saying this, but this incident alone, we're pushing $4,500.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is the third incident like this. So
Wow.
our cat is basically a semester at Yale when you add everything up. And I'm just like, I was alone when he came in that day, and I have thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And I have said to myself, how much better would it have been for him and for us if I had just said, why don't you just take a little nap here, buddy?
Yeah.
I'll come back in an hour. It would have saved us money and grief. And I mean, my wife is she's a 24-hour nonstop nurse for this cat. She's losing sleep. She's like got his deranged, messed up body on camera during Zoom meetings. It's crazy, man. And
we
yet,
have
go ahead.
Our dog is now basically blind, deaf, and can't go up and down stairs.
Beautiful.
A couple hours the other day staring at the dishwasher, which and so I've come to every once in a while. I go, you think maybe it's time to make an appointment with the vet? And my wife would be like, for what? And I'm like, okay, I'll wait a few more days to ask.
When it sinks in, you'll be there.
Yeah.
I mean, we did at some point evaluate whether it was better to put him down or keep going. But the evaluation wasn't about the cost. The evaluation was about how much better for the cat it would be. And the vet said, let's give it 2 days. And at the end of 2 days, the cat was doing a lot better. Now he's doing a lot better than he was a week ago. But I mean, that is a low bar.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. I looked up, like, quality of life. I mean, how do you tell if your dog has a quality of life that's worth sustaining? And it was basically like, is the dog eating? Yes. Can the dog walk around? Yeah. Not up and downstairs, and does the dog look like it's in obvious pain? And is it going to the bathroom? Yes, it's 4 questions, and it's like, yeah, all right, so it's blind, deaf, and doesn't really do anything, but it's not in obvious agony or anything, so it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I come from a rural family, on both sides, and everyone's always had hunting dogs and everything, and they're just a different point of view that I come from.
Yeah,
I'm pretty perfunctory about that kind of thing. I'm like, oh, that dog is not pulling his weight. Put him down. To me, they're not. Well, most of them aren't, humans. My other dog that died a couple of years ago, that shattered my heart because that dog was human, but most dogs aren't. I guess, I don't know. It's definitely not cats, and so I'm not really particularly sentimental about it. But I will say this: my wife knows that if she tries to get another dog, I'll divorce her, and because I can't. No more pets. I can't handle the expense and the heartache and the crazy town that comes with it. I just can't do it anymore. I'm not up for when you get a dog. What you're saying is, let's raise this beautiful being that will love us, and we will love it to adolescence, and then it will die.
Yeah.
It's gross. I can't stand it.
All right, then you're going to Florida. You'll be back in time for my retirement party, though, right? In late August.
Oh yeah. I see the Florida thing's open-ended, but I mean, it's not like I'm going to be there forever. I'm not leaving at the same time as my wife because I have a lot of friends in Florida, and they all want to see me, and they're all in different circles, and they're all in different parts of Central Florida too. So I'm probably going to ping pong around and couch surf just so I can see everybody. And because I mean, for years and years, everyone in Florida is like, "Come see us," and I'm like, "I'm never coming back," and now I am. And so I got to do that.
All right. Well, I don't think I have any other topics. Hold on.
And I'm gonna find out where all my old girlfriends work and just kind of wander in.
Yeah, so they can see they made a good choice.
Yeah, just to let them know your life was good.
Yeah. You were
There,
right.
but for the grace of God. Go on. Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, hold on. Oh no, the last thing I have on here is Satanic Temple. So,
My favorite place. What about it?
well, hold on a second. My daughter.
I love them because they're the church and state thing is something that really bothers me, and I'm willing to get out of my political bubble for church and state. And you got to give some credit to the Satanic Church, man.
Yeah. All right. So Memorial Day weekend. I mean, we titled it's Memorial Day weekend. We didn't even say anything about Memorial Day.
I'm not doing anything.
I'm working all weekend.
Yeah.
I love how the new mayor of Chicago did a press conference and said that they won't have to cancel days off for police officers 2 days after they canceled all the days for police officers. So I'm working all weekend.
Lovely. Lovely. All right, well, play us out, and I'm going to go cook for a bunch of people.
All right. So we don't have an outro yet, but we have the
I'll sing it. How's that? How's that? Get your wife to write one.
I don't know how to end. Oh, stop recording. Okay. There we go. All right. See ya.